Another heat wave headed our way as a new heat advisory has been issued by the National Weather Service. This one for Friday morning until late Saturday, 11 p.m. The heat advisory extending all the way up for areas around Redding toward areas of the Grapevine. Temperatures, though, could reach in a wide array of temperatures from 99 to even 111 degrees. Now, even overnight lows are not expected to cool down much. We're looking at temperatures closer and near 70 degrees. Now, in the meantime, we've also been tracking some thunderstorms into the afternoon hours of your Wednesday, pushing over state line and into Nevada. Of course, it's been creating its own mess of issues, including a lot of lightning strikes, but also flash flooding and severe thunderstorms that have been pushing through that area as of Wednesday evening. But look, in the grand scheme of things, how much of the U.S. is dealing with this heat. An excessive heat watch in effect as well and lasting until Saturday 8 p.m. for areas in this pink shade, and then the excessive heat watch, in that pink shade there, and the excessive heat watch in the red shade for areas of Southern California up as you see it just toward the west there for those areas which you know are very dry and deal with a lot of low humidity levels, very dry conditions, which of course could cause new fire starts. Now, we've been seeing a lot of activity in the desert Southwest in the form of new monsoonal moisture, as well as looking at more lightning strikes. As we get a big picture of what's happening in the atmosphere, we currently have a high pressure up toward the north, the low pressure just offshore. Now, it is creating some winds that are moving their way actually further south as this trough digs closer toward us, pulling some of that air along the coastline, and that is actually bringing in for us some areas of wildfire smoke, which we'll get to in just a second. But in the meantime, a high pressure system that is in place right here, that is going to expand further north by Friday into Saturday, creating this huge heat dome over the area, not making way for much of that mixture in the air to happen. Typically up in the atmosphere, we get a lot of those winds pushing in and out of the area. But as we have the heat dome overhead, it's going to keep things very still in place, calm to very light winds if we get any at all. And that's going to make for pollution in the air. If you know anyone who has asthma or is just sensitive to pollution, make sure they're limiting their time outdoors. As we move toward next week, this will start to weaken, moving its way east as you notice that orange shade kind of shifting. We get a lighter orange right here. We'll start seeing temperatures dropping down to about 100 degrees from Sunday into Monday and then back into the mid-90s, very similar to what we dealt with on Wednesday as well as Tuesday, right around the mid-90s, which is average this time of year, right around 95 degrees or so. So that's some good news moving toward next week. But in the meantime, we'll be dealing with a lot of heat and that new heat wave coming in from really Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and toward Sunday, as I should say. We're looking at triple-digit heat. It's not really till Monday we start to see things lax up just a bit there. With the National Weather Service, we are looking at a heat risk, and they're putting this in the moderate range for us as we're mostly seeing individuals sensitive to the heat being affected. Now, Friday and Saturday could bump it up here to a major risk heat here for that heat risk, as a lot of people are affected by about temperatures closer to about 105 degrees. Again, similar to what was dealt with over last weekend, a lot of spots seeing about 105 to 109 degrees. Current humidity levels into the evening hours Wednesday are around 30% on average, but take a look into the foothill spots. You're seeing about 15 to about 20% relative humidity. Where the lightning strikes were happening, you're seeing things right around 17, and we saw them as low maybe as about 13 and 14% just around 5 p.m. So earlier in the day, some a little lower than that. Of course, very dry fuel out there for lightning strikes, but the only good news with it is we are looking at some areas where there is some flash flooding that comes with the lightning strikes. Obviously not good for people, but if anything were to spark in that direct area, it could be saved by some of that rain. Not always, but sometimes. As we also take a look here, you're looking at the severe weather outlook, low risk for areas to see lightning strikes for our area, but we're also looking here at that risk where we're seeing the thunderstorms pushing over mostly into Nevada. We did see a little bit right around the state line area there and then into Nevada. Now, we won't expect to see any more of them really moving into the weekend. At this point in time, we're not seeing any major risks for some of those lightning strikes or some of those thunderstorms, but we are looking at a lot of heat still headed our way. I want to show you what the winds are doing. You notice them along the coastline moving their way down south. As they get close toward the Bay Area, they're kind of sweeping up into our region, into Sacramento. What that's doing is it's allowing for the wildfire smoke to move into our area. Now you're saying, where's the wildfire? That's actually sitting in southwestern Oregon, right over the line into Oregon toward the west. So we are seeing the flat fire, that's what it's being called there, burning over about 12,000 700 acres. Last check was about 12,756. But a lot of that air, that is moving all that smoke down along coastline spots and then really pushing it up toward the Sacramento area. You look at air quality conditions as of the evening hours, moderate to unhealthy for sensitive group air quality for areas around the foothills, and then you get toward the city and you're mostly seeing unhealthy for sensitive groups to unhealthy air quality. And just check out areas right around the North Bay, Vacaville, and Fairfield. They're even looking at unhealthy air quality to very unhealthy as some of that smoke is beginning to move into those zones. So as we start to see more of the heat up happening, we can expect less air movement, but that also means if it's here, it's trapped into our atmosphere and it's kind of just hovering around. So if it looks dirty outside, the skies are looking grayer, you're noticing more pollution, that's what you're seeing. Highs today really only reaching about 93 for Sacramento Executive Airport, 97 in Stockton, 88 in Fairfield, 97 Marysville. Those lower 90s as well, Placerville and Auburn with 86 in Truckee and South Lake Tahoe. But the Climate Prediction Center saying, hold up here, we're not done with this heat. Almost the entire country will be feeling the heat above average temperatures. The gray zone, the only spots really right around there, and maybe the tiniest spot there in Washington. Those are just going to be normal for this time of year, but everyone else above average, especially for the central U.S. And then for our area, we're still looking at pretty above average temperatures. When we see average 95 this time of year, we're talking closer to 102 to 105 degrees. So very hot for us. Lower foothill spots into your Thursday, 97 in Groveland with maybe temperatures as high as about 102 to 104. In those lower foothills, 93 in Arnold, 89 for Truckee. And the Bay Area looking at temperatures closer to the 70s to mid 70s in Oakland and 101 in Vacaville. Now for the Sacramento and the San Joaquin Valley spots, we are seeing a bit of a range here. Areas right around Sacramento 102. Further north you're looking at about anywhere from 104 to 106. Now the 10-day forecast will bring temperatures for the weekend around about 105, 106 Friday and Saturday. And these are the days we're looking at that heat advisory in place, dropping to about 100 degrees on Sunday. Still a hot day on Thursday. Finally, we'll see temperatures right around the mid 90s into next week. Again, average for this time of year is right around 95 degrees or so. And it looks like it'll hold on there. But hey, that Climate Prediction Center was saying we could see above average temperatures for the next 8 to 14 days out. So triple digits may be returning.